Good afternoon, I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Welcome to Camnet TV Midday News, the headlines. CHOMA rose for Chief MUKUNI'S wife and four others accused of abduction. Given LUBINDA says only government can determine how much retirees should be paid. Join me with the Midday News in detail after this commercial. 2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses with only a few months remaining down to the ballot. The battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders, and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor, or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict.
For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Camnet TV
every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 17:45 hours
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel.
And now the Midday News in detail. The voluntary separatee of 1999 have accused Minister of Justice Given LUBINDA of misleading the public when he told Parliament that 450,000 kwacha was paid to each retiree. In an interview with Camnet TV News, the separatees have protested, asking the Justice Minister to explain who was paid the 450,000 kwacha. They have also asked the Minister to explain how the 5.7 million kwacha his permanent secretary legal Andrew MUKUNI'S said has been released for clearing of their balances was arrived at, considering that more than 500 million kwacha still remains unpaid according to the judgment of 2006. And in his defense, Mr. LUBINDA has told Camnet TV that he did not state how much each separatee was paid, considering that each is owed a different amount.
Give up on their terminal benefit is what they have refused to do. These are the voluntary separatees of 1999 who have for over 20 years been lobbying that government pays them their dues. According to a judgment that ruled in favor of the separatees in 2006, a sum of 742 million kwacha was to be paid to these separatees. According to them, only 189 million kwacha was released, which was to be paid within a period of 6 months. However, it has taken the state 20 years to pay them these funds, and in some instances, these separatees have been paid 350 kwacha per person in the periods of months. These retirees now want to find out how the 5.7 million government says it will pay them has been arrived at. The retirees have accused Minister of Justice Honorable Given LUBINDA for lying in Parliament when he said retirees had been paid 450,000 kwacha each.
There is a report, and what we know, we've been paid not more than, over the years from 1999, we've only been paid not more than 125,000 each. When Minister Waimanam Parliament, we are paid this money. Minister of Finance internal audit team, they did an audit. They conducted an audit. We never got the 400 which LUBINDA gave in Parliament. We want this money, the difference. Not only the difference, this difference is carrying interest. Yes. Because this matter was in court. We've been meeting them. They can issue statements. Yes, as a minister, don't just follow a statement because this one is in MUKUNI'S is issuing a statement, his permanent secretary. This one is issuing minister because he's giving LUBINDA. No, he's misled.
It's very good that PS MUKUNI'S had mentioned that the minister was going to issue a parliamentary statement in Parliament. I would urge all parliamentarians to counter the 450,000 kwacha perceived to have been paid to each individual. Okay? So that in an event that the minister is going to issue that ministerial statement, which PS Nkunika mentioned, members of parliament should counter that statement, because then where's the 225 balance plus interest which is owed to us?
And in his defense, Mr. Lubinda says the accusation by the retirees are false, as government is the only institution that determines how much these separatists had to be paid.
That 450,000 was paid to each. No, they couldn't have been paid a similar amount, because the money they are owed is not the same. It's different amounts that they are owed. So if the technocrats tell me and tell you that they have released 5.7 million, there's no way that a retiree, an individual retiree, would say no, they haven't received 5.7 million. Because the money is not given to them as a group. The money is paid to individuals. And the total that has been released now is 5.7 to meet the total balance for retirees.
One wonders why the retirees and the authorities have failed to come to a conclusion on this matter, considering that the retirees did not quit work by accident and that the now government is not the same government that asked the separatists to retire. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Former Community Development Minister Emerin Kabanshi has Thursday morning failed to appear before court for a judgment in a case she is accused of failing to follow procedure when re-engaged Sampost as payment service provider for social cash transfer program following the termination of the said contract. Kabanshi, who was scheduled to appear before Chief Resident Magistrate Lamek Mwale for her judgment, was nowhere to be seen when the matter was first called. However, after standing down the case for 10 minutes, her lawyers who arrived at the court premises without her informed the court that she was unwell and has proceeded to the hospital, hence could not make it to the court.
Former Community Development Minister Emerin Kabanshi will have to wait for almost a month to hear a judgment after she failed to appear before court Thursday morning. The embattled minister, who is currently an area member of parliament, was expected to appear before Lusaka Chief Resident Magistrate Lamek Mwale for a judgment in a case she is accused of failure to comply with procedure in relation to the execution of the social cash transfer program. And when a case was called before court this morning, she was nowhere to be seen. However, after standing down the case for 10 minutes, her lawyers who arrived at the court premises without her informed the court that she was unwell and she had proceeded to the hospital. Ms. Kabanshi defense lawyer Jonas Zimba told court that they were ready to proceed. However, it was unfortunate that the accused fell ill. He further apologized to the court for the inconvenience caused and requested for a shortest adjournment. Allegations in this matter are that the lawmaker between the 21st of August 2017 and April 26, 2018, while she was cabinet minister concerned in the administration and management at the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services, failed to comply with the law by extending the scope of coverage of contract between Zambia Postal Service Corporation (Zampost) to include 3 provinces and 2 districts and a social cash transfer program. But the accused in her defense testified that the re-engaging of Zampost was done on the 8th of August 2016 to her knowledge and not the 21st of August 2017 and 26 April 2018. Kabanshi also told the court that with regard to the extending the scope of coverage, the extension of the contract was reinstated by the need that arose to extend that was facilitated in the contract. The embattled former minister denied ever taking part in the facilitation of the said contract, arguing that the technical staff, the acting permanent secretary at the time, and the controlling officer were the ones who facilitated, and her duty was only to give direction in policy. But according to several witnesses' testimony, Ms. Kabanshi ordered for the reinstatement of the contract between the ministry and Zampost, even after being informed of Zampost's failure to deliver the terms of contract. It was discovered that other social cash transfer beneficiaries were not receiving their allocation, while those that received payment was delayed. Judgment comes up on the 28th of May 2021. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
In other news, in CHOMA, the High Court has set Senior Chief MUKUNI'S wife, Veronica Mwana Kasale, free after spending 3 days in detention on a charge of abduction. The Queen has been jointly charged with 4 others, namely CHOMA businessman Fines Malambo, former Minister Axon Sinjani, Vincent Lilanda, the Mayor of Mazabuka, and CHOMA Mayor Javen Samuloka. The 5 are being accused of being behind the disappearance of the Hatembo siblings, being Feluna and Milton. Meanwhile, Judge Kenneth Mulife has maintained that the state acted irresponsibly for keeping some accused persons for 32 days in detention without being taken to court. The matter has since been adjourned to the 6th of May 2021 for mention and 17th of May 2021 for commencement of trial.
Military police artillery was unleashed in the small town of CHOMA district in the southern province, where Chief MUKUNI'S wife was appearing in court on a charge of abduction for the Hatembo siblings, being Felun and Milton. Mounted machine guns, water cannons could be seen all over CHOMA town in anticipation of a showdown between the police and sympathizers of the accused persons, who include CHOMA-based businessman Fines Malambo, former Minister Axon Sinjani, Vincent Lilanda, who is the mayor of Mazabuka, and CHOMA Mayor Javen Samuloka. The 5 accused persons stand charged with the 2 counts of abduction with intent to confinement, contrary to the laws of Zambia. Despite these intimidating machines, hundreds still made their way to the court and in the streets, especially after the accused persons were all granted a 50,000 kwacha cash bail plus 2 working sureties in their own cognizance. At some point, police, in trying to disperse the crowd, tested their newly acquired water cannons on this crowd, but the people treated it as a fun gesture anyway. At the court, the Zambia police barred private media journalists, saying instructions had been given that only Zanis should be allowed to cover the court proceedings. In taking plea, all the 5 suspects pleaded not guilty to the charges leveled against them. However, Livingston High Court Judge Kenneth Mulife has condemned the police for keeping some accused persons in police custody for 32 days without taking them to court, saying in doing so they had violated Section 26 of the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia.
We are satisfied by the judgment that has been delivered this morning by the Livingston High Court, sitting here in Mazabuka. The effect of the hearing or the judgment of this morning was that we had a pride on behalf of our applicants who are our clients, Honorable Sejani, 2 mayors, the mayor for CHOMA and the mayor for Mazabuka, Javen Samuloka and Vincent Lilanda, and a prominent businessman in CHOMA, Fines Malambo. Now, this is a judgment setting our clients free to their liberties by Honorable Justice Mulife. This judgment is very sweet, very important human rights judgment. It goes to warn the state, particularly the police and other detaining authorities, that it is costly to detain suspects in cells for purposes of investigations. As you may be aware, or as the public may know, today our clients have been incarcerated for 32 days. They have never seen a courtroom in a democratic state. That is very sad and a very serious and flagrant violation on human rights.
The matter has since been adjourned to the 6th of May for mention and 17th of May for commencement of trial. Kalan Muchima reporting for Camnet News.
Well, that news item brings us to the end of Camnet TV Midday News, but before we go, the headlines once again. CHOMA rose for Chief MUKUNI'S wife and 4 others accused of abduction. Given LUBINDA says only government can determine how much retirees should be paid. Thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzeya Sakaleji. Good afternoon and enjoy watching Camnet TV, not just another channel.